morning and happy week before Christmas, y'all. It's just Danae here today. I cannot believe, and I say this every year, that it's the week before the holiday is actually upon us. So I hope you are finding peace and joy in this week and leading up to next week. And I also hope you're finding the best deals Amazon has to offer. Because if you're like me, you still may be looking at getting a few last-minute gifts. Yes, last minute, that's me. But first of all, I just want to take this opportunity and thank you so much to those of you who have taken your precious time to listen to this podcast. I know there's so much great content out there, and I'm overwhelmed to know that you find something of value in this podcast. I'm not belittling what we do. I'm just so grateful to those of you who have let me know what this podcast means to you. I love you with all my heart. Thank you so much. But second, I'm going to give myself a break for the next few weeks because unlike many who are great at scheduling things ahead of time, that is not my gift. And if you don't believe me, then you can ask our, I don't know his actual title, operations director, IT guru, just the greatest guy out there, Matt Thompson, who is responsible for making sure all of these podcasts get actually posted online, and 100 other things that he does that nobody gets to know. And I've thought about that, and I thought, you know what? We need to change that. Matt is a fun guy. He's a wonderful friend, and I think when we get into the next year, we need to change that. So if you're listening, Matt, and I know you are, get ready, because I think people need to know more about who you are. But anyways, the point is, I don't have a lot of recordings, just sitting there stored away somewhere to post throughout the next few weeks during the holiday. And that's okay. We all need to, just enjoy this holiday time. Be with family. That's what I'm going to do, and relax a little bit. Not that I don't love doing this. I absolutely do. But I have been thinking that what's my goal with this podcast? I mean, I guess that's probably something that, when you start a project, you should probably have a long-term goal in mind. I didn't, to be honest with you. I just knew it was something I wanted to share. And the truth is, it wasn't like, I have a great idea, and the next day I started podcasting. That's not at all what I did. I've been studying the Enneagram for years, and it was just an opportunity to share what was on my heart. But there is so much great content out there from people who teach the Enneagram and can help you, learning at your speed. There's books, there's videos, there's other podcasts. But I kind of want to take the podcast that I'm doing in a different direction. And it's absolutely not that I am not going to use the Enneagram. I love it more than ever. And so this is still going to be an Enneagram-centered conversation. But I know my gifts. I think I am learning them as we go. And I know that one of my main gifts is connecting with people through story. And that's what I love. I love conversations that connect us. And that's what I want to do here. I want to be more of a platform where you can share your story. I mean, how does the Enneagram affect you? How has it helped open your eyes to how you function in life? What's your story? If you're a type 3, how have you approached business? If you're an entrepreneur, or if you're a business owner or an actor, how has knowing your type shown up in your places in life? How has it shown up in other places in life? How do you approach what you do from this knowing your type? If I just said 3 as an example. So I am a big believer in being bold with your dreams. Yes, I've done vision boards, and I say what you think about comes about. I believe that. I've said it, my goodness, my kids grew up hearing me say that. Just put it out in the universe, and the universe will begin conspiring on your behalf. These are little phrases I've used, for like 20 years. But I actually believe it, because I do believe you attract into your life what you focus on. So I used to end all of my emails, like I think when I first got my email account many, many years ago, one of my emails, I started, you could put your signature on there and set it up, and it was always on there. So I used to end all my emails with a phrase or a saying from Marianne Williamson. And it was, our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we're powerful beyond measure. I love that. And so the question is, do I believe that? Do I really believe that I'm not inadequate? I do have something to share. So I'm going to put this out into the universe right now. This is big and bold. Drum roll. I want this podcast to be the moth of the Enneagram conversation. What? Yes. Do you know what the moth is? I hope you do. If not, just go look up the moth. But what it is, it's a place where people share their stories, their real life stories. And so that's what I want. I want us to share our stories from our understanding of who we are within our Enneagram types. I do love the typing part of the Enneagram. I understand that the Enneagram is so much more than a typology. It's so much more than a awareness of our personality. It truly is a spiritual growth path for me. That's how I see this gift. But we are who we are. We have our types. We are, products of our personalities. So I'm not going to apologize for saying I love this part of the Enneagram. And I want to say we are more than a meme. Now, I'll be honest, I get a kick out of some of the memes. I see myself absolutely in some of them, and it makes me laugh. I love laughing. I love opportunities to, expose our gifts and our weaknesses through humor. So those are great. Keep them up. But we're more than that. We're more than a meme. So for me, I want to know, what was your aha moment when you discovered your number? And I've shared mine. And I'll just do it real quickly, again, in case you didn't hear that. But when I first learned of the Enneagram, my friend said, I think you're a 7. And so I was like, what is that? And she handed me a book. And of course, I went right to that section to see, what does that mean? What are you even talking about, a 7? Well, one of the biggest takeaways from my early introduction was learning I'm not broken. It wasn't something that was just personal with me, that I did not understand the grieving process. And I think you've heard this before, when my father died, and we were just incredibly close. I was my dad's girl, it's for sure. And but when he died, I was devastated and cried, but I felt like I didn't grieve long enough. And that made me feel like it looks like I don't love my dad, or that everything I thought, how close we were, people must think, and isn't that what we always get caught up in? People must think. Nobody was thinking, but I thought people were thinking. She just went right over that. She just bypassed the grief process and went right on to the next thing. And that's not true. I did not grieve like other people grieved, but I've missed my dad since he died 26 or I can't remember the date now, years ago. But I expressed it differently. And so understanding this about my type just gave me so much compassion for myself. And it wasn't that I was broken, but this is just one example. But it was just the beginning. The more I learned to understand my inner dynamics, the more I saw the story of me And all the sevenness makes up, it makes so much more sense in my life now. It shows up in ways that I go, okay, I see what's happening here. And I love that. I love that I understand who I am so much more. And I'm so much more compassionate to my past self. We just beat ourselves over, the head and go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Or, man, if I'd known then what I know now. Well, that's the point. We didn't know then what we know now. And so I'm able to forgive my past self, thank my past self for leading me to the opportunity to grow and learn more about why I do what I do and how my story makes so much more sense to me now. And so I've learned empathy towards others. I've learned compassion. I'm learning still, and I'm in awe of what I see in the stories of everyone. It's our stories that connect us. It's the quote from the Bible. If I have all knowledge, but I don't have love, then I'm just a sounding gong. And make no mistake, I don't have all knowledge. I know that. But that's what I love about the Enneagram is it's a life journey. It doesn't say, okay, you need to get your act together and know it all and then just live it out for the rest of your life. That's not it. It's the opportunity to experience more and more love. And isn't that why we exist? To love? To love what we do? To love the planet? To love each other? And to love ourselves so we can love life. Right? So, I've already been talking to some people who have offered to share their stories on this podcast. That blows my mind. When the very first person said, well, maybe I could, talk about this on your podcast, I was like, what? It came to me. And then there have been others that I've I've invited, would you come be a guest on my show and tell me your story? And let me tell you, there's this one girl who, she's a type 1. I asked her, would she share her story? She's an amazing type 1. She has an incredible business here in Atlanta, and I'm not going to spoil it because I want her to share that with you. But the story of me even asking her to be on this podcast is fantastically hilarious and such a beautiful representation of a type 7 asking a type 1. So we'll talk more about that when she's on the show. But I want to close this last episode of 2019 with the rest of that quote from Marianne Williamson, and I'm going to read it because I want to get it right. It speaks so strongly to me, and I want it to speak to you. So if you need to rewind and just listen to this, or go look it up and just print it out, have it in front of you. This is what I want us to all know about who we are and how we matter. Every single person has a story. So let me quote Marianne. So what she says is, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just some of us, it's everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Whew, I've read this 100 times, and it just makes me emotional every time. So, we all have a story. We just need to believe. Okay, get it together here today. We just need to believe that people need to hear it. Do you have a story that you want to share? I want to be that place that you share your story, or one of the places. Share it everywhere. Share your story because people need to hear it. So, I'm going to put my contact information in the show notes. I want you to let me know when you're ready to share your story. So happy holidays to everyone. Happy New Year. Let's celebrate new beginnings together and truly get to know the joy of who we are by loving our own number. I love you all. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All the other ways of celebrating. Happy New Year.